Greetings, Elliott Church and community, adults and children, members and friends. It's good to be with you today online. I am going to share with you today, this Easter Sunday, the Easter story. It's a version of it written by Glenys Nellist with illustrations by Alessandra Fusi. So I hope you enjoy. We've used some works from this book before, and it's really beautiful. And I'll begin with the end of the Last Supper. When evening came, Jesus and his disciples left the upper room and walked to the Garden of Gethsemane. And there, in the darkness, the soldiers came with torches and weapons and led Jesus away. The next day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun stopped shining. The sky turned dark. Heavy clouds of sadness hung in the air. Thunder rolled. Trees trembled. The whole earth began to shake, and high on the hillside, on the cross, Jesus said goodbye. It's all finished, whispered Jesus, and he closed his eyes and died. Except Jesus wasn't finished, and neither was God. It was still dark the next morning when Mary Magdalene woke up. She opened her eyes and remembered sadly what had happened just 3 days before. Her best friend, Jesus, had died. Mary had seen him die on the cross. She had followed Joseph and Nicodemus as they carried his body to a quiet cave on the hillside. She'd stayed there and watched them roll a big stone over the entrance. Mary had been with Jesus at the very end. And now she wanted to go back to the cave and anoint his body with perfume. But what Mary didn't know was that high on the hillside, the sun had already started to shine again. The sky was bright and blue and beautiful. No clouds could be seen, only sunlight and hope and joy whispered in the air. And on that promise-filled morning, before Mary arrived at the tomb, what would have been impossible for anyone except God happened. Jesus came alive again. Jesus stepped out from the dark cave with a big smile on his face and said, "Hello to the world. Hello, trees. Hello, sunshine. Good morning, ocean. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, God. New life has begun." When Mary arrived at the cave, she knew something had happened. The big stone was gone, and when she peeked inside, she saw that Jesus's body was gone too. Mary sank to her knees in despair and began to cry. But above the sound of her sobs, someone was calling her name. Mary turned around and saw a man who she thought must be the gardener. But only one person said her name like that. "Mary, Mary, it's me, Jesus." Suddenly, Mary's sadness was gone. Into her world, the light came, flooding and leaping and dancing into the darkness, chasing away all the shadows and shining into every corner of her heart. Jesus was alive. "Go, Mary," Jesus said softly. "Go and tell the disciples the good news." Go and tell the disciples the good news. Mary ran without stopping to the upper room in Jerusalem. She burst through the door and told the disciples what she had seen and what she had heard. Jesus was alive. And now Mary and all the disciples had work to do. They had to go out and tell the whole world the wonderful story of this man called Jesus. And they did. The end. That is the Easter story, the wonderful Easter story. And so I want to leave you with 3 wonderings for you to think and wonder about today and into your week. Number 1, I wonder how I would have felt if I had peeked into that empty cave. Number 2, I wonder how Mary felt when she realized Jesus really was alive. And number 3, perhaps the most important, I wonder what this story has to do with my own life. So friends, I leave you with those wonderings. I wish you a blessed, wonderful Easter Resurrection Sunday. May we celebrate the promise of joy, hope, and resurrection this season and all days. I look forward to seeing you soon, and I'm sending each and all of you my love. Take care.